Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Truth Guitar Method. My name is Joel. You can call me Joel, son of Caesar. And yes, my dad's name really is Caesar, like for real, for real. Anyway, today's video, we're gonna go back to the Spark Amp 40 by Positive Grid. We're gonna check out the rock tones available to you the moment you buy it. Now, there is a playlist, you can click right here, where you can see the review of the Spark Amp that I did a couple of months ago. And also check out the pop sounds and the blues sounds that are available on the Spark Amp right now. But today, we're checking out some rock tones. Let's go. All right, so first things first is you gotta download the app on your smartphone. I think it's only available on Apple and Android, so you need one of those in order to do that. Once you've done that, open up your Spark Amp app and connect to your amp. Now, if for some reason it doesn't want to connect, make sure that your amp is turned on. Once it starts connecting, you'll notice on top, you'll have immediately, probably, if it's the first time you're doing it, you're probably going to be prompted to create an account. Once you've done that, you'll have a whole bunch of settings, and you'll have the hardware settings, which are the settings that are on the Spark Amp right off the bat with the 4 buttons on the top. And you've got clean, crunch, high gain, and metal. Those are the presets that are on the amp right off the bat. Now, you can also scroll over, and we've already looked at the pop tones and the blues tones, but today we are looking at the rock tones, and there are 4 of them. And I'm gonna be honest, man, I feel like the rock version that it has here, these 4 examples, are awesome because you can tell all of them apart. You can tell like the American sound from the British sound, absolutely. And you can tell the different sense of heaviness and then the different effects that are being used in each one of them. So if something on here is not to your liking, you can always download one from the cloud. But anyway, let's check these out. So the very first one you'll see is called Modern Stone. Let's go ahead and open it up. And Modern Stone, you'll see right off the bat, just like the other ones, on the front you'll have the amp head and the speaker that you are using, which is here an American high gain amp head. And on the top, you'll see the signal path or the signal chain, right? And so you have the very first one, you have a noise gate, okay? And you can just swipe. And then right after that, for Modern Stone, you have a sustain, called a sustainer by Positive Grid. And you know what, man? All these effects by Positive Grid are pretty good. Like, I don't know. I can't complain. Bias effects and Positive Grid is just, I don't know, hands down, it's awesome. You don't have to be pulling out pedals and rearranging them. You can just kind of, do it from your phone. It's got an overdrive. Now, in this case, I'm going to play a little example without this checked. As you can tell, the overdrive is off. But if I click on as if it were a real button, it turns on. I'm going to use it off because that's the way that it comes. And I want you to know what it sounds like. Okay? And then you've got the amp head, right? And then after the amp head, then you have your modulation pedal, which is off as well, but you can turn it on by pressing the little silver button on the bottom or the little red light that says check. Then you have the delay. I almost said decay. The delay. And you've got a reverb. Now in this case, the reverb is turned on. And that's where the signal path ends. So let's check out what Modern Stone sounds like. Here we go. right, so the next option that you have for the rock tones is called Crue. And let's go ahead and select that one and go in and see what happens. And like I said, just like before, in every other preset, you'll have a few of the pedals on the top, and then the amp head and the speaker that you're using on the bottom. And then you can move around the signal path to see what's on there. And it's rock and roll, so a lot of the time you'll have a noise gate because those distortion pedals get a little noisy. And if you're wondering, does the noise gate work? Absolutely. You turn this off, you're going to hear a bunch of noise. You turn it on, it definitely brings it down. And you can, change the sound just by touching the button, right? Like threshold, and moving your finger up and down and so on. It's very easy to use. On Crue, we also have a compressor, which is turned off. And again, you can turn it on just by pressing that silver button. And then we have the tube drive, and that one is turned on. Then you have your amp head, and then after your amp head, which is normal, a lot of people like to put, the effects pedals like modulation, delay, and reverb before the amp head, and it gives you kind of, it's really up to you, but the sound is a lot better if it comes afterwards. So in this one, you have a modulation effects pedal, a digital chorus that you can use. I have it off, or it comes off, I'm sorry. I have it off on my screen. And then you have the echo tape delay, and you have a reverb called Room Studio A. And so this is the signal path for Crue. Now, it's going to sound different to the one you just heard. Let's take a listen to Crue. Same sample. Here we go. All right, so that was Crue. The next one on the list for the rock tones available, as soon as you buy this thing, you install the app and you get your account ready, you're going to see one called Dark Soul. And I'm not going to lie, man, this one, when I saw it, you have to pick it first, right? Dark Soul. It's going to bring some power. Dude, this one looks amazing. It looks really, really cool. Like the amp head, that looks nice. You can even see the little tubes in there. Right? You can see the speaker, super awesome. And then on the top, you have your signal path, just like before. And you'll notice that for rock and roll, or for the rock tones, you kind of have the same thing. You have a noise gate, you have a compressor, you have a distortion pedal, you have the head, you have a modulation effects pedal, you have a delay, you have a reverb, and then boom, you have your sound. The only thing is, there's different effect pedals being used by each one of these tones, and then they're all dialed in a little bit differently to give you a different rock tone to some of the rock and roll sounds that you are used to listening to from the 80s and 90s and stuff. So the very first pedal on the signal path is a noise gate. Then you have the compression pedal, and that one is off on this one. And in this case, remember the first one, we had the overdrive off. Now the overdrive is on. So it's going to bring in a little bit of life into this sound. And then for this one, we have a flanger. In the last one, we saw a chorus. And on this one, we're looking at a flanger. So if you're, into that particular sound, then that's something that you want to press. And then we have the delay pedal, right? And we have the reverb pedal. And the delay and the flanger are off, but reverb is set on. So what does Dark Soul sound like? Take a listen. finally, we've arrived at the last available preset, which is called the British Accent, available to you on the Spark Amp as soon as you purchase it. It's called British Accent. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, you can definitely tell the difference between this and the other three. I have a Black Star amp. It has an ISP knob, which basically, you know, you can turn the knob, you know, all the way down, and it'll give you that kind of American sound, or turn it all the way right, and it'll give you more of that British sound. You can tell the difference. I didn't used to know, man. I used to just listen to whatever the guitar sounded like, but there's kind of a little bit of a preference and sound between the two, the American and the British, and this one definitely brings it. It brings you to that British, like, classic rock sound. So you have your amp head. It's orange, so you can kind of tell who they are emulating here, right? And again, like before, you got a noise gate, compression, a drive, the amp, the modulation, the delay, the reverb. It's kind of the same thing all the way throughout, except they're each dialed in a little bit differently. So on the signal path, you have the noise gate first. You have the compression pedal that is turned off. And then you have the drive, which is more of a booster in this case. And then you have your British amp head, right? And then your modulation is a cloner. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no idea what this does. I'm kind of gonna have to play with this. You're gonna listen to it with it off because it comes off the moment you purchase it. And then it's got the echo tape delay, and finally the Hall Natural reverb. And this is the British Accent. Take a listen to the same example that I've been using for the last three. See if you can tell the difference between the four. So here we go. Alright, man, so that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Could you tell the difference between the four rock tones? In my opinion, yes. And if you're still wondering about the Spark Amp 40 and whether or not you should get it, I'm gonna be quite honest, man. If you hate pulling out all your stuff just to jam for a little bit, get the Spark Amp 40. It's got a ton of choices, and those were just presets. You can still download stuff from the cloud, presets other people have made, and then just rip them and put them into whichever category you like, which is either pop or blues or rock or metal or alternative or whatever. So is it worth it? Absolutely. Can I tell the difference? Yes. And I hope you, again, enjoyed the video. If you did, consider giving this video a like, and subscribe if you haven't. There are giveaways that I do every 3 or 4 months, so I don't know. See you guys later. Bye.